Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our morning edition of Big Brother 22 All-Stars Live Feed Spoilers. It is day 10 in the game. We had a pretty active overnight, as in a very active overnight. We have a lot to get to from Memphis, from Janelle, Nicole, Kaser. We're going to dive right in, but before we do, if you guys do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and if you do want to support us further, check out those links in the description. We have our store where there's a number of different merchandise options, and also our Patreon where we are doing live chats at the end of every month, and we have a lot of other benefits there that are also worth checking out.
Okay, so let's talk about Memphis and something really cool that he's planning to do. So I really wanted to see Janelle win this one, because one of the cool things she wanted to do was to flush out some of these safety suites and make people like burn them basically and make everybody really nervous. And that is the same plan that Memphis has, but he has a little bit of a twist on it. So that part of the plan, I'm like, yeah, that's great. The twist on it, I'm just not 100% sure on. He wants to get some of his own allies to burn their safety suite as well. And Christmas has volunteered, and that's great. But I don't know why anyone would go along with this plan. This is for all stars. And yeah, you could be a team player for burning a veto or something, but this safety suite really helps you if the other side of the house actually, gets into power. This is a very sort of different, important power. So this is a huge ask. I get where he's coming from. He wants to be like, hey guys, look, I'm not only targeting these people, some of these people too. Hey, everybody's playing. But that really only benefits Memphis.
Yeah, it's an interesting ask that he's put out there. I don't know how it's going to play out throughout the day. I'm sure we'll go more insight on this as it goes along, but I look about a lot of these people, like Nicole F. Like, I don't think Nicole F's going to take one for the team and go and do this safety suite competition.
Nor should she.
Yeah, I just think that it is an interesting thing, because if nobody does play in this safety suite and Memphis is HOH, you are going to make people think that they are working together. Like, I get his idea, but his execution, that's going to be the challenge.
Yeah, and it does end up actually putting it that it doesn't even really matter. So let's say Christmas is like, yeah, I'll burn my safety suite. That's fine. That doesn't then mean that people don't think Cody's working with him or Nicole F is working with them. Like, they would all have to get in there. The people that don't play, they're going to be the ones that people are like, So it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't know.
Well, let's sort of try to talk about what Memphis is even trying to do with these nominees in the first place, because nothing is 1,000% confirmed at the time that we're recording this, but it seems like his easy option is, okay, let's just put Nicole Anthony and David on the block. That's not going to ruffle too many feathers. Ultimately, we know that Tyler's kind of working with David, but I don't think there's going to be that many people up in arms. Ian is a possible target if he wants to go in that direction, but I don't get the sense that Janelle and Kaser are people who Memphis himself necessarily is super gung-ho about putting up there, because I think he wants to kind of at least have an old school option to some degree.
Yeah, I mean, he's a part of a really big alliance, and he's really the only old school player on it. So does that mean that he's kind of on the bottom of it? It probably does. And I mean, I know he's sort of the person who's been trying to put all this together, but that doesn't mean that when they get to the end that the new school people are going to be like, you know what, Memphis, you can go. You're the only old school player. So if Memphis keeps Janelle and Kaser around and that starts to turn that way, he can jump ship and it will still be maybe okay for him. It's a really smart play.
Options. Big Brother, it is a game of options.
Yeah, and I mean, there seems to be some concerns about Nicole Anthony being really close to Janelle, so that might also be a reason why he's like, maybe Nicole A needs to go. Really, the problem is Memphis and Nicole A are not having conversations.
No, and it's kind of hilarious because until overnight, I wouldn't have even said that Nicole A is all that close to Janelle at all.
No. So Memphis is also talking that it's too early to backdoor someone, which is a little bit crazy town for me, because right now nobody really knows, is anybody staying? Is it a full jury like Survivor Winners at War? Are they keeping people as insurance just in case something happens with the health crisis and they need to bring someone in? Is there a battle back? They don't really know, but because they don't know, they can probably assume that people are going home. So now is the best time to backdoor somebody, because if you're going to backdoor someone like Ian and he doesn't come back into the game, then that's great. And if he's not on the jury, he's just gone. So there's a better chance that you have by backdooring someone now that they won't be around to hurt your game later with a vote or battle back in.
I love Ian. Don't get me wrong. I love Ian, but I think if you're going to get rid of him, you got to try to backdoor him now, because he's too good in vetoes. He's very competitive in those situations. He's endearing. You got to just take the shot. I don't know if Memphis is going to do it. Memphis, as astute as he is about some things, he's also worried about Bailey and Davon, and it feels like they could be threatening a little bit later on down the road because they're tight, but I just think him, like, even vocalizing any concerns about them at all, like, that's not going to get him anywhere this week, because Cody and Enzo are close to Bailey and Dave. I think if he tries to push anything with them, they're going to just fight him on it.
The biggest problem Memphis is running into with this particular thing with Bailey and Davon, and even with Cody and Enzo, obviously he doesn't know that the four of them are working together, but he's not having those conversations and sharing information. It's the one thing that Tyler said that is absolutely true, is you can't just go around and be like, oh, okay, we're all together, cool, man.
Yeah.
And then that's it. You know, you do have to share that information, because then this ends up happening where Bailey and Davon can be allies to Memphis, but they're not really having conversations with him. He is not having conversations with them. And then we've got, you know, Cody and Enzo, who are not kind of talking about, hey, man, Bailey and Davon, they could be numbers for us. Those conversations really need to happen.
Speaking of important conversations that needed to happen, let's get into Janelle, Nicole, Anthony, and Kaser. This is big. This is fun, hopefully.
Yeah, there was a really big conversation that ended up happening last night, and it went on for a really long time.
Forever.
So there's been sort of this back and forth, you know, is Nicole A going to work with Janelle? And they had been sharing information, doing each other's makeup, and then Nicole Anthony went and kind of betrayed her and stuff like that. But now they've had this really good talk where it seems like they've just really spilled a lot of information to each other, where I think there's a real trust that's building here. And Janelle has realized that Danny is not with her, which I think, is the most important part of this. And I think it was hard for Janelle to get to that point, but thank goodness she's come to it early, because this was gonna be her downfall.
It's gonna, hopefully, and that's the thing, we don't know if this alliance is gonna stick. We don't know if this is really even an alliance with Nicole Anthony, Janelle, and Kaser, but if Nicole Anthony keeps a lot of this information to herself and they can find a way to work together, they could be really, really important in this game, of course, provided that Nicole Anthony survives this week.
Yeah, for sure. So these three, Janelle and Kaser and Nicole Anthony, think that Tyler, Cody, Danny, Nicole F, and Enzo are all working together, which is true.
That part of it is great. There's the problem, is that they're sort of interested in telling this new information that Just told you about to Memphis. So yeah, you're gonna go to Memphis and be like, oh, by the way, we figured out a lot of your other allies are working together. Can you believe this? And Memphis has to pretend to do the like thing and be like his mind is blown, and he put the blob, aka the commission, together.
And I'm really wondering what he's going to do with this information, because he can go a couple different ways with it. He can decide to then be like, oh, they're figuring us out, let's put them on the block, which then just confirms to them that it's true. So it's a dicey move at that point. It's really early to do something like that, because he's basically exposing it if he does that. If he doesn't then put those three on the block, then who is he going to sort of go after? He could play it dumb, be like, I don't know what you're talking about, and then throw up somebody else that's not them. So like a David or a Bailey or whoever, right? Anybody else. Ian, just go after Ian and sort of like stick on that plan.
It's going to be really kind of interesting how Memphis handles information and also how information is presented to him, because of course that matters as much as anything, because it needs to be presented in a way that actually comes across as legitimately believable.
Yeah. Okay, so the trio wants to work with Bailey and Davon and Christmas, and then Memphis. So, I mean, Bailey and Davon, they make sense because they're not, like, besides being with Cody and Enzo, you know, that foursome, that's going to go a little while. It may or may not go all the way to the end. Bailey and Davon are playing a really smart game. They are sticking together. They are a duo. People are starting to figure that out. So, yeah, that's dangerous, but it's not that dangerous yet. I mean, we're at the beginning of the game. There's lots and lots of people in the house. A duo is not enough numbers. I could see, you know, Bailey really likes Janelle. Janelle really likes Bailey. So I could see that kind of starting to play out.
I think the big X factor in a lot of this is Christmas, because she is in that Blob Alliance commission or whatever else. Janelle wants to tell Christmas. I think ultimately she was told by Danny and Enzo to target Christmas. If they go to Christmas with this, could they get Christmas on board? I don't know. I don't think that Janelle and Christmas are really BFFs, but that is one of the things I'm most excited to see today.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is now that Janelle is, you know, brought in about what's going on about Danny, and she's kind of really figured it out. Danny giving information to Janelle is either going to go in one ear and out the other, or she's going to take it and go to Christmas and be like, you know what Danny's saying about you, just so you know. So she may actually be able to start to pull her in, which is nice.
Well, we'll see where the rest of the day goes. We have Safety Suite, maybe nominations, maybe Kevin somehow can get on the same page with these people. Time will tell, but what do you guys want to see happen in the Big Brother 22 All-Stars house today? Let us know in the comments, and if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, support us further. Check those links to the store, our Patreon, and we will see you here next time.